inducted in July 42. Some little guy with a mustache didn't like us going into his country, you know, and he fought like crazy to keep us out. We are on our way to Weimar, Germany. I'd say I'd never go back.
But Clarence Brockman of suburban Pittsburgh is going back at the age of 89 to a place few people actually witnessed and a place many people did not survive.
Even General Patton vomited when he come there and saw it. He just wouldn't believe it.
It was April 1945. Clarence Brockman was a 25-year-old soldier serving in the 80th Infantry Division. American forces were pushing deep into Nazi Germany.
We started east, over towards Gera, Jena. We hit Weimar, April 11th, 1945. We pulled into the town, and the first thing you ask for, then civilians over there, where's the booze? And this one told us there's 2 farmers down this road. It's about 4 miles from Weimar. She says they make the best. So we started down that road. There we are. Hello, George.
Clarence Brockman today lives a quiet life with his wife and family in McDonald, PA. But in 1945, he was a hardened soldier by the time he hit Weimar in east central Germany. Earlier, Clarence had landed at Utah Beach, fought through France and on into Germany. But nothing prepared him for what he was about to see down that country road.
I asked Corporal Billman, he was in charge of our group, 4 men. I said, do they have monkeys here? He said, I don't think so. I said, what's up them trees? He said, they look like monkeys. They saw us first, and they didn't know who we were, because we had strange uniforms on. We were strangers to them. So they went up the trees there, and the closer we got, we thought they were human beings, dressed like monkeys. I mean, what they had on was nothing but rags, dirt, filth. And one of the guys with us could speak Italian. And he started talking to him. One of the guys was Italian prisoner. He told us their camp was down the road about 2 miles. You smelled the camp before you got there. You smelled it downtown Weimar, that camp. And that's approximately 6 miles away. And we come in the gate, I said, oh, wait a minute. I said, I don't want to go in there. Because there's everything imaginable there, typhus, smallpox, anything disease there was, you name it, they had it. And there was piles of bodies there.
For the next 2 hours, Clarence and his fellow soldiers wandered through what turned out to be Germany's biggest concentration camp, Buchenwald. From 1937 to 1945, the Nazis imprisoned over 250,000 people there. Political prisoners, POWs, Jews. More than 56,000 were starved or worked to death.
This is what they exactly looked like, but on the day we was there, we saw the bodies laying around. And they were in carts, they were laying on the ground, they were piled up in the crematory. They had a pit there, and they were throwing the bodies in there. Of course, we got there, we got the bulldozer made the pit bigger. As you get 2,500 bodies, you got to put them someplace. The camp was well kept. It was. We was never told anything about concentration camps. We didn't know what it was about. How many crematories was there? 3, 4 furnaces going. And the bodies were half cooked in there. This is what the barracks looked like. The people, they still didn't know what was going on. Even after 3 days, they still didn't recognize freedom. We notified the our CIC officer, Captain Root, says, we've got a big problem up here. We've got a camp. And right away the wheels started rolling for them. They brought up food and everything else.
Clarence arrived at Buchenwald on the morning of April 11th, 1945. The Nazis had abandoned the camp 3 days before, taking many of the prisoners on a forced death march. Clarence was one of the first Americans to walk through Buchenwald. This film footage was shot by the U.S. Army in the days just following the camp's liberation.
We saw the camp inside and out. And then the people say they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know the camp was here. Well, the order to come down, to take the civilians out of the town, take them up that camp and take them through the camp. Then they broke down. A lot of them did.
Those images are forever burned into Clarence's memory. He returned home, married, moved to McDonald, had a family, and retired after working for 35 years at Consolidated Coal. Though Clarence has visited Germany several times, he never thought he'd see Buchenwald again.
I'd say I'd never go back.
But 65 years after first seeing that terrible place, he did go back. An international committee that maintains the camp invited Clarence and other U.S. soldiers from the 80th Division. Only 6 of the liberators were able to make the trip. Clarence traveled with his daughter, Barbara, to commemorate the liberation and to meet with 100 people he helped set free.
I was a little bit leery about going over, how I'd react over there at that time. But then, when you get a plate of good food put down in front of you, and a nice tall glass of beer, which you're not allowed to have, then kind of change your mind a little bit.
Clarence didn't arrive empty-handed. He brought a book about Pittsburgh signed by Mayor Luke Ravenstall, a proclamation for the mayor of Weimar, and something else.
So we got a flag flown over top of the Capitol, and we took that over, presented to the supervisor of the group over there. To look at the camp now and what it was back then in 45, that's 2 different stories. It's all well manicured. They burn all the buildings down.
On Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day, the liberators and the survivors came together at a solemn ceremony.
This guy up here, I come in the gate, we got off the bus. He grabbed me and hugged me and kissed me and everything else. I said, oh my gosh. He wouldn't let me go. They said that was the biggest celebration of the Holocaust Day they've had over there.
What's left of the camp is still maintained, the main gate and restored barracks that house a museum and canteen. But Buchenwald today is vastly different than the hellish place Clarence and his buddies happened upon that April morning.
When I walked in the camp, I expected to see old barracks and whatnot else still there. But then when I looked and saw how they manicured everything else, you realize it. You were there before. You saw it. It's something you don't want to remember, but you can't forget it.